But it's not distracting you?
No, it's
Okay.
it's relaxing.
Okay, great. Then I'm glad. I wanted to just tell the audience, how we met, just in terms of you know, I decided to make one post on a transplant support website. I think that's the only post I ever made, even though I've read some of the sites. And I made this one post about my transplant story and just spontaneously sharing that with probably thousands of people potentially that are on this group. I can't remember, it was one of the groups, and so there were, I mean, hundreds of people that commented or responded to it, or just there were a lot of people. But I'm introducing Debbie Beeson, who's with me today. Welcome.
Thank you.
And I'm just really grateful to have her on today. We've known each other for probably a little over a year now.
That's what I
And
was.
yeah, and it all stemmed from a post that I made on this transplant support site. And Debbie is very active, I come to find out, in supporting other people, in posting not only about her own status in terms of her kidney journey, but in terms of supporting and encouraging other people, which I always see that you make comments and stuff. So when I made that post last year, just a very spontaneous description of the story that led me to finding a living kidney donor, having been on dialysis for almost 3 years. Debbie reached out to me. So there's the launch point, is that Debbie Beeson, who I'm so happy to be here with me today, reached out to me, and I'll let you then complete the story of how we connected.
Well, I think like you said, it was about a year ago that you posted that, and I had been diagnosed with kidney failure prior to that. And I was looking on these websites and on the Facebook pages for help and support. And I happened to read your story, which just really resonated with me. And like you said, I wrote to you and you wrote back. And I think we just started just spontaneously getting together via Facebook, via email, and led into phone calls, which led into support, and you keeping me level-headed and balanced through this journey.
That was really, a blessing for me. I was really trying to just be involved in the recovery from my own transplant, but that I was really, it was really enriching for me to get to know you, because you're a really amazing person. And I kind of wanted to, for the audience to kind of get a sense of where you were at that time in your kidney related journey and where you are now.
Where I was back then was probably just at the beginning of learning that I needed to be or find a living kidney donor. Very apprehensive of where my future was going and how to go about this, because this was all new territory for me. So with your help and guidance, and because you had been in my footsteps, 6 months to a year before me, you were able to kind of guide me along the road here, which now I'm a little bit not as apprehensive. I'm reaching out to people and trying to explain where I am, that I do need a living donor. How we really connected is when we got together and you suggested doing an educational Zoom meeting, and we had 2 living donors that came on to speak. We had the living donor coordinator from a transplant center, and we hosted a program to educate people on the process of donation, which I think was very helpful to a lot of people. So where I am now is a year later. I'm still waiting on somebody, but they're out there and we're going to find them, Jay.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
You ask. There you go. I'm trying to make it short and concise, and I talk too much sometimes.
Perfect. You're perfect. I just was thinking about, how much you've taught me things that I didn't even know on the way, but that you have learned and are willing to share with other people. Are you able to share where you are from a kidney standpoint right now?
Yes, my kidney functions at 18%. They take you at the kidney transplant when your kidneys fail and are at 20%. So I'm under that number at this time. I was born with only one kidney, as you know, Jay, and that was due to a birth defect because of my mother had the mumps during gestation with me. So that ended up with only having one kidney, which along the way was probably jeopardized as well, but it functioned long enough till right the last couple years it's titrated down. And that's when we got in the search for a transplant center and went on the search for how to go about finding all the donors and support group, and trying to stay calm and collected during this time and journey is not always as easy. We get a little bit excitable, and you've been really good at keeping me more calm. You can ask my husband, I'm not always so easy to keep that way. Balanced and grounded is not my forte.
But you've really done a great job for yourself. You're listed at which transplant center?
I'm right now at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville.
Okay, and what is the contact point there? Let's just say, so people people could just know that,
The name of the coordinator there is Ashley Dennis. I have a phone number or an email address if you want that.
Yeah, sure.
Well, actually, yeah, it would be 865-305-5340. And her email address is adennis@mck.edu. And anybody can email her or call her at any time. She will get back with you and they will go through the process with whoever it is calling and let them know it's a confidential conversation.
And your situation, your status, and some of the things that you proactively tried to do to advocate for yourself, and through the Zoom meeting that we did and through many other things. I mean, you have bumper stickers, car stickers in every state, right?
Yeah, I have my little,
okay, I love
that. If you can see that, a little flyer that we've handed out in different places and put up.
And what about the stickers?
Yeah, the bumper stickers we handed out. I don't know how they've gone to Canada and in the United States to many states. I don't know how many. I think there's probably at least 30 states represented that are carrying my bumper sticker. It was very difficult to put the word out because of COVID. You couldn't meet in a group. You couldn't go to church. You couldn't go where people would normally gather to discuss your issues and let them become aware of what you're going through. So that has been a challenge to get the news out, the word out to the public itself. And that's one reason you and I did do that Zoom, just to help with education, not only for myself, but to let people know the process and how many people really need living donors. I mean, I think there's over 100,000 kidney patients waiting on this national kidney list, and only about 30,000 of those a year get a kidney. So you're seeing 70,000 people still needing help. And that's where you have been an advocate, trying to get people to become aware of the need and become aware of the process. And education is the biggest way to go about doing that. And you've been a big advocate on that.
I'm glad that I could help in any way that I could. and can, but so we've identified there's a deceased donor list, right? That's one way of getting a transplant,
That is
or that you come up and
right.
you were actually called the one time, but
That's right.
that, and then you have a living donor. A living
That's right.
donor can be someone that you know or someone that you don't know. So it could be a family member or a friend, or it could be just someone that calls, that sees your bumper sticker, or that potentially just, here's
Or
about your
I've
story. Anyone who's healthy enough and who has the desire to, and is an amazing enough person to do that, can donate on your behalf, and you would get a kidney. So someone can do that, whether they're matched to you or not, and that assures you that you can be in that matchup swap process of a paired donation. So really,
right.
anyone that's desires to give the gift of life can do it, and just that they would be directly to you or be matched up with someone else, but you would be assured to get a kidney as if they
That's right.
donate on your behalf. So there's so many different avenues that it can take place, and the technologies, like you said, are so advanced right now. So there's so really this shouldn't discourage anyone to come forward to be tested and possibly. And so we've talked about a few different things, and we still have time. I wanted to be able to, is that something that you'd be willing to do, to check in periodically over time to see
Yes,
where you are and where you
I
stand?
would be honored to do that,
Okay,
Jay.
so that's exciting, because then people can tune in and see how you're progressing, how you're feeling, and where you're going. I wanted to just ask you before we wrap up today's interview, is what is your next step, tangible step in your process that you have planned, in terms of the search, or in terms of your medical appointments? Just go through like basic stuff, like what do you have to do for your medical appointments,
Well,
and where do you go?
as you know, every month I have to have blood work done because they keep that an active cross match for any living donor that would come along. So that is something that's every month. Every year, to stay on the list, you have to have, I, as the recipient, have to be tested multiple tests. I
Right.
mean, it's unbelievable how many tests you run through. That's done yearly, and you have to pass all those tests to remain on that living
Right.
kidney, or I mean, on the kidney national list.
Right.
So that is, that's something that most people don't realize you have to go through, that you're doing things constantly. I've had to update all my vaccines, my hepatitis vaccine, my tetanus vaccine, my shingles vaccine, and you can't do it at certain periods during the month because it offsets your blood work. So you have to really work
A
around
lot of
that.
planning. Yeah.
And my most exciting thing, and I think that's what you were alluding to, is that you can be multiple listed at different hospitals for kidney transplant. And I am getting evaluated at a hospital in Cleveland, Ohio in the end of July to see if I can get onto their list.
Mhm.
So we all my records have been sent to them, and I passed all that, but you have to go in for a one-to-one interview with the doctors, the nurses, the dietitian, the social workers. You have a long process, a long day. You have to do more blood work. I think it's like 28 vials of blood you have to
Wow.
give. So a lot to do in a 1 day period. So I'm looking forward to that, because that gives me another option of, like I said, multiple listings and a different region, which
Mhm.
also is good because we didn't really go into the regions. But when a deceased donor comes up, it goes locally first, then it goes to a district area, regional area, and then it goes national. So with that being said, you're almost better off being listed at several, because you have the opportunity of reaching more possible people.
I mean, you are amazing, because you've become an expert in more than most people, as an amazing advocate for yourself, but really becoming an educator while you're still in the process of looking for a living kidney donor, and also navigating the different transplant center, the possible transplant centers, the University of UT, University of Tennessee transplant, and then the Cleveland. The name of the hospital is going to be
University Hospital. It's located in Cleveland.
And what is significant about that hospital for you?
Well, I was born there.
That's really amazing. I knew that. I just wanted you to say it.
Yes,
So,
I was born there, and so also it's one of the leading transplant hospitals in Ohio. So with that too.
So I before we end, I just wanted to say that so we have something to look forward to touching base with you on. Of course, we'll be in touch, but as far as making another update, that'll be another thing upcoming, July, as far as going there. Perhaps you can, you're sort of navigating, helping that people navigate themselves through you, right? If we can periodically keep them updated, that you'll be, there are people.
If we can help somebody else along the way, that's a real huge benefit, because there's so many people walking this walk, and we have to support each other, and we have to understand each other, and we have to make other people understand that we may look fine, we may, act fine, but there are issues, and there are medical issues that go along with kidney failure that you don't always see looking at somebody or looking at this video or whatever. And I think that people need to be aware that there are people that need help. And if we can help by educating or showing my story or your story or other people's stories and how they navigate through this and how their attitudes are, and how we can help each other, I think it's wonderful.
Yes, and I have all good feelings that there's going to be a very positive, outcome from wherever it comes from. That you'll be able to get a transplant. You've kept yourself healthy. You watch your diet and you exercise still where you can. And you have a wonderful husband who I've spoken to a few times, and you have really good support system. You live in a peaceful area, so you're able to still be to navigate things. And I really ask that anybody that wants to send a positive comment, at the end, or to make a something to say to Debbie, feel free to go do that in the comments box below the video, which is going to be posted soon, and you'll see it. And we love you, and we're just thinking of you, and we're going to keep periodically in touch with you as we go.
And I appreciate that, Jay.
And so I'll be speaking with you soon, and thanks for coming on today. And you look great, by the way.
Well, you do too.
Thank you.
Everybody needs to know that you're a kidney recipient, and what are you now, a year out?
I am a year and a half this week.
There you go.
So
there
18
you go. And
months.
look at that healthy thing. Look at that with the palm tree behind him.
Yeah, it's it's amazing. And so you've become part of our family, and well,
you're like my little brother. Are you kidding?
Little big brother.
No, little brother.
Thank you. So I'll be speaking with you soon.
All right. Thanks, Jay.
Okay,
bye,
take
everybody.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye.